I think Machine's going to lose this one if he doesn't back out because WhiteRa's fortifying quite strongly.
Well, the longer this game goes on, I think it's just going to be slipping away from Machine, who he just needs those extra bases to really be effective. I mean, nothing he can throw at WhiteRa is really going to be able to break him until he gets Hive Tech, and it's very hard to support Hive Tech transitions on only 2 bases.
So WhiteRa really has Machine contained at the moment because Machine knows that if he pushes out or tries to get a third, then WhiteRa will probably find it and probably get rid of it pretty quickly. So this is definitely in WhiteRa's favour.
Yeah, Machine's gonna have to pull something special out. He's losing Overlords now. I really don't know what he can do here. I mean, WhiteRa, as we saw earlier, was putting those pylons up in the perimeter of his base, so a Nana Swim is going to get detected. It's just not looking good for him. I think WhiteRa is going to need to cement this lead though.
Although even if Machine goes, if Machine goes to Spire, it won't help him at all now because of the Stalkers. So really Machine's only option is to get Hive, but he can't because he doesn't have a third base.
Yeah.
Really, so...
Like, theoretically he could, but it would just leave him so vulnerable that WhiteRa would come and steamroll him. I'd like to see WhiteRa perhaps tech a little more. I mean, he's in a safe position to be able to do that, but it looks like he just wants to end the game right here. He's pushing in. He's got some nice force fields, cutting off a reinforcing Hydralis, pushing in.
That's a really nice concave. That is definitely a win for WhiteRa.
That's pretty much the end of the game right there. Those force wheels were beautiful. Stopping the Hydralis from backing out, and Hydralis, they really rely on their speed to be able to come in and back out again. And now WhiteRa taking the expo that I was, going on about before.
Just a little sneaky expo to make sure the Zerg doesn't go there.
I don't really feel that that's a good area to be taking in. Maybe he can defend it a bit better from his ground army because there's no way that Mutalisk is going to be able to pop out. But his queen, he's bringing the queen up now. The last of the Hydralis are about to be taken out by all these Stalkers. Hydralis being chased back into the choke. They'll probably be able to find solace on that ramp, but you can draw out the game for as long as you want. But at the end of the day, WhiteRa will just steamroll you.
Well, as you can see as well, WhiteRa is being pretty careful with his army. He's not being super aggressive. He's making sure that whenever he wins one, he kind of comes back a bit, gets some reinforcements. Yeah, he doesn't want to get in the position where he loses his whole army and then has to start rebuilding.
Yeah, that would just be horrible. I mean, gamers of his standards, they do play conservatively and rightfully so.
And as you can see, Machine is now, I think, in a bit of a panic mode. That's a bit of a, oh, I'm probably going to die, so I need spine crawlers.
He's putting his spine crawlers down, which, not a good idea. As what Machine really, really needs to do is just get map control. Spine crawlers not going to do that at all. It's just going to...
Although Machine can use the spine crawlers to push forward, so you can kind of leapfrog them like kind of mini siege tanks.
Yeah, that is true. The creep's very far out now,
and he should do that.
We'll see what he does with him here. And he's still sitting around chilling. He must have some plan. Perhaps he's going to use those spine crawlers to defend, so he can tech. Maybe we'll
he's
see.
moving them. Up.
Here we go. He's going to need to be able to defend those spine crawlers. WhiteRa needs to be able to snipe off his spine crawlers. He's going for one on the right flank.
Those are very good force fields.
God. At the same time, the force fields were blocking off some of his zealots, and the spine crawler. WhiteRa needs to back up and make those spine crawlers have to move further forward. But it's so many Hydralisks.
This has suddenly turned in Machine's favour.
Yeah, I think WhiteRa just neglected to tech. He needed to get Colossus and Observers out.
Colossi.
Indeed.
Even though WhiteRa has an amazing concave, I think these Hydras are just too much.
No, I don't know. It's going to be close.
Some
Machine's just pushed back when the reinforcements come in, but he's going to be safe with his spine crawlers. I'm actually being forced to eat my words a bit here because those spine crawlers are actually giving Machine a bit of a map control now that he needed, and perhaps this expansion here is going to be a little bit more vulnerable now. To these Hydralisks, they could swing round, and Machine could rely on his static defenses to defend against any incoming pushes.
Although, as the Observer just showed, Machine doesn't even know that expansion is up there, so maybe a little bit of a lack of scout. He should have Overlords on the expansions.
Yeah, he's just so focused on trying not to die for most of the game, but he's actually putting WhiteRa under a lot of pressure now, and he's coming in the front. This is going to be a huge huge turnaround. We're looking at he's forced back behind those warp gates again.
I also think, and he's still pushing forward with the spine crawlers as well.
Jeez,
So
he's going to come. WhiteRa's coming in for a surround here on Berserk, but Machine, yeah, he sees it coming and he moves back.
as you can see, I think right now Machine is a little bit hesitant about going in and trying to end the game because he knows that WhiteRa still has a force, and he knows that he can even get his army cut up by those sentries, and then it'll be over for him. But this looks like WhiteRa's going to lose a lot.
Yeah, WhiteRa is actually in a position to lose this game now. Although he's cleaning up these spine crawlers, which I was just thinking that they're kind of like a ticking time bomb. As soon as they get to the front door of WhiteRa, he's going to be in a world of hurt.
I think WhiteRa's desperately trying to micro to try to catch Machine's army from both sides, but I don't think it's going to happen since Machine is very well controlling his Hydras, keeping them nicely controlled.
Yeah, I'm just astonished at what a turnaround he's had here. But here it comes. WhiteRa's going to get the surround on the Zerg player, which is,
never a good thing.
Yeah, never a good thing as a Zerg getting surrounded. The Zerg's usually the one that wants to be doing the surrounding. But it might not be enough. These Hydralisks are still just pushing up into this ramp here, and WhiteRa forced to pull all his forces onto his ramp.
Yeah, it's really like 8 Hydras versus 4 sentries at this point, and Hydras are really good. And now there are even more Hydras, so... Wow. Yeah, this is WhiteRa becoming a little bit desperate with his probes.
Yeah, well, looks like I called that game a little too early. Perhaps I think it came down to the fact that WhiteRa didn't tech so much. He perhaps needed to tech more. And also I'm just not so familiar with the matchup because I'm a Terran player.
I do think though that the amount that WhiteRa committed was pretty good, although I think he may have overcommitted just a little bit. It may have been just a bit too much of an overcommitment, and that's why now it's had this huge turnaround.
I agree. Yeah.
Also, the creep that Machine is spreading is just so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Once
again, if WhiteRa got the observers out, the creep would could cut off a creep tumor at the head and stop that creep tumor from coming out and getting up all the way up into his main almost now. But Machine still doesn't know about that expansion.
But it doesn't matter anymore.
It's what's keeping WhiteRa from GGing, but I still don't think it matters.
Yeah, he's got, at the end of the day, it's still 2 base Zerg and 1 base Protoss now. And soon it's going to be 1 base WhiteRa with no production facilities, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, he's just massing up his last force here and going in for what it's probably going to be his final attack. And is he going to take it? Is it doing well with sentries? Actually eating down his Hydralisks. He might actually stop his force. No, not quite.
But even if WhiteRa's... here
we go.
It's just not going to happen for WhiteRa anymore. But WhiteRa's being a good player.
Unless he does a classic WhiteRa and rips a Void Ray out of his ass and goes and snipes the hive or something.
With, 2 DTs out of nowhere.
Not many people know this about WhiteRa, but he recently got a button installed on his keyboard, so he can just press it and he gets a Void Ray at any point in the game. A lot of people are complaining about it, trying to get it banned, but it is WhiteRa.
Yeah.
I think he is entitled to his Void Rays when he wants his damn Void Rays.
Yeah. I have nothing to say to that except that
it's true.
Although it's pretty interesting.
There we go, GG for WhiteRa.
Okay.
Yeah, good game.